What a crazy episode of Danganronpa 3 this was. Episode 4 of the Future Side, we got a pretty cool fight between, what's the name? Tengan? Something like that, but pretty much he was the chairman and we saw him fighting against our former president, or like the one who started the whole Future Foundation thing. And this fight right here, to me, it was surprising because not only did that thing, the fight would go on for like most of the episode, like once it started, but the fact that they focused on it so much, and we just saw like this old man just put it in work like he one of the younger people. I gotta say, I was definitely impressed. Like, this chairman, he definitely should not be underestimated, because this guy, he definitely surprised me. But at the same time, I do have like, well, personally, I do have quite a few questions about him, and also Kuyosuke or Munataka. But pretty much now the episode itself, after this like very brief recap, we do see now that we pick off right from last week, where we have Jozu. Like, we saw him now trying to attack Kyoko, the old man, and the boy who has the bag under his eyes. And now we saw him at first trying to like throw his chair at Kyoko, which she like luckily dodged. But then we see that he was not done yet. But we have Tengen. He was like trying to talk to him, saying that, you know, violence right now is not the answer, because obviously he definitely wanted to like keep things peaceful. But Jozo was not having that, and we see now that when he like threw another chair, and this time it like hit this pipe that was like visible, you know, due to the wall being, you know, like down from it. Like, we saw now that right there actually allowed some steam to like fill up this hallway, and that right there was like blocking everybody's vision, you know, like a little bit. And so we see now that that Jozu, he definitely was not wasting time. Like, we see him taking off his jacket and throwing it in, but that right there was so he can actually block, you know, Tengen's vision. And so getting behind him now, we see this guy actually kick him, and to me that right there was like over the line, because why would you know, get so physical with this old man? Because their size difference, it's insane. And we just see this guy not holding back, and then we have the boy with the bag under his eyes, and his name is Ryota, or Mitarai, whatever. But whatever, like, this guy, like, right now I was like going on the Wikipedia so I could actually, you know, learn some of the characters' name. And I noticed that this guy, Ryota, this guy actually shares the same name with the imposter from Danganronpa 3 on the Despair side. So this guy is the ultimate animator, and to me, I find that, you know, just so shocking that all this time, you know, like we actually do get to see the real one, and to me, it like blows my mind right now. But this guy was like trying to be a hero, but pretty much he got in the way, and we see that that Jozu, you know, had like knocked him back, and this made him go flying into a Kyoko. And when they fell down, now he actually came down on her ankle, and so that right there actually messed her up. And so right now you would think that, you know, these two might be easy pickings for this guy, but we see now that that Tengen, he definitely was like not gonna like let this happen. And so we see now that out of nowhere, something went flying past Jozu's head. Now, right now, we can't see it clearly, but you could tell that it was a very fast projectile. And so right now, because of that, you know, we see that, you know, that Jozu, he definitely had to deal with Tengen. Otherwise, there was no way he can take out these so-called traitors, because right now they believe that if Makoto is working for the Remnants of Despair, then his friends are definitely his friends are definitely work for them as well. And so we see now that when this guy picked up another chair and threw it at Tengen, we see him now like time like slowing down, and we see him, you know, like raise his hand to like stop the chair. And not only that, he also sent it like flying back, and that right there was insane. And then we see how fast this guy is for his age. Like, he was blitzing at Jozu, and we see him now, you know, like getting ready to punch him, but then he stopped for some reason. And even Tengen, you know, asking him like, "You're not gonna punch me?" And then out of nowhere, like, we see him like move past his arm and then like elbow him in the chest chest, which like sent him flying and actually knocked him out. And so that right there was like freaking brilliant. And so right now we have Aoi, and then we have the girl in the wheelchair, and that right there is like a whole bag of worms that I will definitely open up at the end of this review. But we have these two like now joining up with our three who just dealt with Jozu, and we see that they now like tied him up. And so right now where we have them all together, like we see now that that Ryota, he was like feeling bad because right now he feels like that he's only in the way, like there is no way he could be like a symbol of hope like Makoto. But then we have Kyoko saying that that he gonna be himself and there's no reason for him to be like Makoto. So right now this guy, he is definitely somewhat depressed because he feels like everything that he has tried to do so far to pretty much, like got him in a way. But in reality, he has done some good because he did save Aoi from like being punched by Jozu, because this guy really has no problem with like hurting women. And even though he did kind of even though it was his fault that Kyoko got hurt, he did somewhat save her in like some aspect. But regardless, now we see now that in the calm room we have what's her name, Kyosuke. We have him making this announcement that he did capture Makoto, and so right now he was like trying to lure the attacker out. And so pretty much now we have Kyoko saying she'll go there because if he has not killed Makoto yet, then there must be room for negotiation. And so then we have Tengen saying that if she wants to negotiate, then he'll go, because he was saying how he'd been meaning to have a talk with this guy for a while now, so he definitely wanted to go. And then we have Aoi and the girl in the wheelchair, going with him. And so we see now that when Makoto actually came to, we have him and the guy talking, and we learn now that the worst case scenario that could be like the worst possible outcome for this killing game, it would be for the attacker to actually live and then use Makoto to actually spread hope. But in reality, they'll be like spreading despair because apparently, that right there would be, despair and the disguise as hope, which is like the worst thing possible, because right now they want to get rid of despair and not spread it again like worldwide, and which is why that right there is the worst possible choice. And so no matter what now, to achieve that goal of spreading despair secretly, they have to make sure that Makoto survives, like no matter what. But then at the same time, we have Munakata saying that, like no matter what, the attacker who's like trying to use Makoto and Makoto himself, they must die. And then we see now that out of nowhere, like we see someone shoot something at Munakata, and that's what we have Tengen coming in. And so right now he was using some weapon called a Chuzen. Hopefully I'm saying that right, but it was like some kind of like dart needle projectile weapon that was definitely like very stealth, like almost like a ninja weapon, because you can hide it that well. But even though he cannot hit Munakata with it was still impressive, just seeing this old guy just fire them so accurately. And so to me, that right there was awesome. And so while we have Tengen, keeping him back because he was not stopping firing like those projectiles, we have Aoi, picking up Makoto and setting him free. And so right now they were like actually, going to get out of here while we have Tengen versus Munakata going down. And so right now where we saw them fighting, we go back to Ruruka, Yaoi, and what's the other girl name? Hold on, I want to find it. Oh, Seiko. And so pretty much we still have Seiko like in this beast-like form actually chasing these two. And we see now that at one point they thought that they were able to actually, like stop her, because we saw like some kind of bomb that was like stuck in a wall. And then we see now that when it blew up, they were thinking that they actually got her, but this girl was like still in her tail. And then we see them now hiding behind this steel door. and they were using these barrels to actually, block it. But this girl was like so strong in this beast form, like we saw her actually messing up this steel door. And so once again, we get like a glimpse of their past, and like I've been saying, Seiko and Ruruka, they were like friends, but apparently something happened where all three of them got expelled. Seiko did something to get Ruruka and Yoi expelled, but at the same time, Seiko also did something to get them both expelled now. And so pretty much we had the girls going back and forth arguing, one saying, she's a traitor, and another one saying, they are. And pretty much this cat fight right now, it definitely was not going to end well. And then we see now that Seiko was so strong that when she hit the door, like we saw her hit it with enough force that it made Ruruka go flying a little bit. But pretty much now she broke down that door easily, and we have Yoi, even though he was telling her to like run away without him, to run first, she wouldn't do that because Seiko really knows how to like push her buttons. And so now because of that, we have Seiko pursuing them once again, and we have Yoi, actually carrying her. And so right now, we go back to what the name? Makoto, Aoi, and the girl in the wheelchair. They were like making their escape through the halls, and we see now that that Jozu, he was actually free, and of course he spotted them, and now he was chasing them. And then we see that where they pass like this really long hallways that are pretty much, I'm guessing, in like the main point of the building, because you could just see that all these like halls, they were connecting, like in some way or fashion. But pretty much now we have Jozu spotting Munakata and Tengan, like we saw them fighting. And so right now he was saying that like he would help, but then we have Munakata saying no, capture Makoto and all that. And so right now, like we see that this fight between Tengen and Munakata, things were like definitely getting heated here, but both of them were like at a standstill. But then we see now that at one point where we have where it seems like that Munakata might get like the win here, but we have Tengen actually using his hand to like stop the sword. Well, not really stop it, but we see that sword actually impale his hand, and just seeing all that blood that was gushing, man, that right there looked brutal. But this old man was like not giving up. And then we see now how both of them actually fell over like this ledge, and we see them falling. But then where we have them landing, that right there really did determine who was the victor here, because we see now that Munakata's shoulder, it definitely had like some injury, because you could see like a cut on it. But unfortunately, we have Tengen here who took the worst of it, because we see now how he actually got impaled on like this steel pipe, and we see it now coming out of like his stomach or torso area. And so right now you could just see like a puddle of blood now forming. His clothes was all bloody, and we even see blood coming out of his mouth. And so then we see now that we have, or we learn actually just how Munakata actually felt about Tengen, talking about how he felt like this man was a coward and all he could do was like run away. But we see him now take back those words, and so now he was saying how he thought how he lost his fangs, but this guy could not be more wrong. And so so Munakata was saying how he felt like how he had to take all these burnings and like even kill him if he had to. And so apparently we have Munakata getting ready to say what was on Tengen's mind, but unfortunately we never heard what that was, which to me was like a little bit weird. But unfortunately, I do believe that Tengen will die here, even though this character like really proved himself. Oh, and then we got this scene with Kyoko. Like this right here happened early on, but we got this scene between Kyoko, Ryota, and the teacher that we know, who actually was the one for the class of despair. They all went back to the meeting room where we have Chisa and the big black guy bodies were. And so for some reason, this guy, he was where Chisa's body was, and we have no idea what he was doing there beforehand, but apparently he had been there for like some time now. And so we see now that we have Kyoko actually checking out Chisa's body, but for some reason, I have a very strong feeling that she might find something very odd about her body. I'm not sure what it is, but that right there, it's like a very strong gut feeling, that I have. But pretty much now we have Ryota, asking Kyoko what she thinks about the attacker and about, like this whole game in general. But she was saying how there aren't really enough clues just yet to really determine this. Oh my god. She was saying how she wasn't sure about if there were like enough clues yet to determine about this attacker and their motives, but right now to me it definitely seems rather weird. But after that, now we go back to the wheelchair girl, Aoi and Makoto. And so right away, she actually picked up that they were actually being followed. And of course, Aoi can't fight because she can't take a hit or a kick, and of course we all know that Makoto can't run, so she was the only one who can actually go out there and fight. And so right now, where she had went out there, like we see now that this wheelchair contains so many like weaponry, because we saw her sending out this like barrage of missiles at Jozu, and even though he actually survived that, she was not done yet, because apparently this girl had like 7 like secret weapons, and the first one was well in my opinion the first one seemed to be like some kind of like giant death ray. Well, not giant death ray, but pretty much like a death ray. But we never saw it because we have Jozu actually like rushing her and kicking her to actually like turn her over. And to me, that right there surprised me. Now, but at first I was like somewhat pissed because this guy really just like crossed the line, because who the hell kicks a girl in a wheelchair like that? But then we see now how this girl is like some kind of robot, android, cyborg. She is definitely very high tech, and we see now that the one who controlling her is actually Monaca, who is definitely, repping like that Junko appearance that we saw at the end of Despair Girls. And so right now she actually took the so-called Sermon's advice, and she will now become the next Junko herself. And so to me, this right here was like rather obvious that Monaca would like end up being the mastermind, because in the Spare Girls they definitely made it like a huge deal about who would be like the next Junko. And so to me that's why that's why I had a feeling that this girl would end up being a mastermind. But I will say that the way that they went about revealing that, to me, that right there was awesome, because I thought for sure that this girl Mirai, I thought for sure she'll be one of these survivors as somebody good. But we have no idea where the real one is now, because Monaca made like some robot version about her that's been here this entire time. And so to me, that right there was shocking of a reveal. And just seeing Monaca herself like that, I definitely will probably like make her like the picture for the video, but I probably won't make her the thumbnail, just because I don't want to risk like someone who has not seen the episode yet coming across this video, even though to me that right there makes like no sense, but whatever. But just seeing her now, man, like to me it's crazy. And I do wonder, just because she's the mastermind does not mean, that she's also the attacker. But at the same time, I don't see anyone else who actually could have got in that room and killed the great Gozo, unless unless she has partners in there as well. Which is why I definitely have my eye on that other teacher that we saw last week, who was talking about meeting up with someone, because this guy could be the attacker. And right now, just seeing the way that that Ryota really wants to be Hope, and not to mention that whole combo between Munakata and Makoto about someone wanting to about someone wanting to spread, the spirit's hope. So to me right now, I definitely have a few characters that I am keeping my eyes on. But this episode, to me, it was damn good. That fight was hype. We saw the mastermind. But right now I definitely have a few questions that I cannot wait to be answered. But of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps me out. And as always, you gotta take it easy. I will see you all next time.